This is the Mountainside Podcast, and joining us in studio for this episode is retired fighter pilot Buckingham. After a 34-year career flying a multitude of U.S. fighter jets, he has had one remarkable career. 17 years was behind the controls of the F-16. He's had multiple deployments. Buck was the first fighter jet scrambled shortly after the towers fell on 9/11. Buck has had one wild career. It was an honor and privilege to have him in here. He's one amazing human. Enjoy our conversation.
I've never been for a loss of words.
Yeah, I could tell by being on the phone with you. So, honor and privilege to meet you. Thanks for your dedicated service of over 37 years.
34.
34. Okay, yeah. Close enough.
Yeah.
A long ass time flying all kinds of aircraft. I don't even know really where to begin with you with that, with the list of aircraft that Jansen sent me this morning, and me being kind of I've always been enamored by military aircraft. Like, one of my favorite places to go is Coronado Beach, just because you see so much aircraft flying up and down the beach. And then is it Nellis that's outside of Vegas?
That's Nellis.
Yeah.
That's Fighter Town, USA for the Air Force.
You see fighter jets from all over the world out there.
You do.
Because I've done some shows at the NASCAR track out there.
Just north of Nellis, yeah.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool, man. You can pull up right there on the side of the road and watch all kinds of aircraft take off and land and stuff. But I guess let's just rewind it way back. Like, how in the world do you get selected or go through the selection process to even start flying these planes to make it to that level? It's the elite, right? Like, it's the Navy SEALs of the aviation world.
Yeah, well, first off, I want to thank you for allowing me to come on and the coordination that you and Jansen have done. This is a great opportunity for me to tell my story for 34 years. I've done it a little bit in a couple of writings, and we'll talk about the biggest day after 9/11 that I had as we go through this. But as a child, I was always interested in airplanes. Dad says, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, we already played baseball. Let's go to the airport and watch airplanes take off and land." He goes, "What?" I go, "Yeah, that's what I want to do." Well, then I moved from Joplin, Missouri to Seattle, Washington, dated a girl in high school, and her dad had an amphibian airplane. Land on the water, land on the runway. And boy, when I went with her and her mom and dad up to North Puget Sound, land on the water, put the wheels down, taxi up on the beach, I just got more and more. So now I'm in college at Central Washington State in the center of Washington, and a guy asked me if I want to go flying. I go, "Sure, I'd love to." And I said, "Well, how'd you get your license?" He said, "Well, I entered the ROTC program." I go, "What's that?" So he told me about it, and he goes, "So go apply, take a written test and see if you even, hold the standards." I did. I passed with flying colors, so entered ROTC program for the last 2 years, and off to pilot training I go. So off to Oklahoma, Vance Air Force Base in 75 through 76. And it was a tough class. We started with a lot of people in it. We didn't finish with a lot of people. We had one accident. We had SIEs, self-initiated elimination. It just wasn't for them. They couldn't pass a test. They couldn't land the airplane for whatever reason. I finished high in the class. The best fighter I could get was an F4, and I got an F4. So off to Tampa to train in the F4 for 8 months, then to North Carolina for 2.5 years, flying the F4E. Did a lot of deployments, sat alert, intercepted a Bear bomber off the North Carolina coast.
What?
Yeah. And then after that, went to Osan Air Base, Korea, and flew the F4 there for a year, which is, I got to say this, which is where I met my wonderful wife.
Nice.
After that, went to New Mexico to fly the AT-38. So now I'm an instructor, a full-time instructor, and I'm getting people that just graduated from pilot training, so they got a set of wings on their chest. They're going to go to an F4, an F-15, an F-16. So we put them through what we call fighter lead-in. So they're going to fly the exact same airplane they just left, but instead of flying it like a trainer, we're going to fly it like a fighter. And we have modified the airplane. We can drop bombs off the airplane. We can put a gun turret on it. And so I did that for 3 years. Leave there, and I go to Louisiana.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but is this No, that's the AT-38.
There's the blue one that I flew. Okay, and there's the F-4. Nice. It's a huge, huge airplane. 60 feet long.
Really?
40-some feet wide. 36,000 pounds of thrust and 2.6 Mach.
Wow.
So it's over 1,500 miles an hour.
So is this one of the biggest payloads you could have on a fighter jet then because of the size of it? Or
we could carry 24 500-pound bombs. So that's 12,000 pounds.
Wow.
But the A-10 could almost do the same thing, and we'll talk about that.
Yes. My favorite. One of my favorites.
Yeah. So at any rate, on to Louisiana to fly the A-10. So I left Holloman in New Mexico, went to Tucson to check out in the A-10. That's the RTU, Replacement Training Unit, where you learn how to fly the airplane. And then off to Louisiana. And now I'm going to go into a squadron, the 75th Sharks, which is now the commander is Bob Coleman. He was one of my instructors at Holloman when I upgraded into becoming a full-time AT-38 instructor. And he called me because he knew I was doing up for assignment. Will you come and fly the A-10 with me? How could I refuse? So off to Louisiana I go. I'm in the 75th. Bob Coleman's my squadron commander, makes me a flight commander. I'm an IP within a year, instructor pilot. I'm search and rescue qualified, and I run the gamut. Well, it's time for an assignment. I had a great assignment after that. It was a ground assignment, but I was also going to fly. That didn't hold true. It got changed, and now I'm going to be a general's aide for 3 years in Germany. And I said, nope, I'm not going to do it. Wife was pretty upset because she wanted to go back to Germany, but I just didn't want to go 3 years without flying an airplane. So I gave him my notice. I had 6 months, and I applied to guard units. One of them was the Colorado Air National Guard right here in Denver, Aurora, Colorado. They called me up for an interview in April. And after 2 hours, he asked me when my last day was, and I said, well, that's going to be 2 July. He said, be here at 6:15 on 3 July. You're hired as a full-time instructor. So the A-7 for 5 years, and then we transitioned to the F-16, and I flew it for 17 years. So 5 different fighters, over 6,000 hours of fighter time. There's a couple of people in the Air Force, maybe 1 or 2 in the Navy, that had more than that, but I'm definitely in the top 1% for total fighter hours.
That's incredible.
And I'm still here. And, I got a landing for every takeoff.
Wow, that's incredible. 17 years in an F-16?
Correct.
How much fun is that?
Well, I can't say that. It's a barrel of monkeys fun. But it's also a lot of work on your body. Mm-hmm. And a lot of guys, including me, I'm starting to show signs of it. But the younger guys that started in the F-16 and they fly the F-16 for 20 or 25 years, they're barely able to walk. Their back hurts. The F-16 is the only jet that I cannot hurt. All those other 4 that we talked about, I could pull more G's than their motor mounts or their wings could stand. You could break those airplanes.
Really?
The F-16 is going to break you. 9 G's all day long. 9 G's means your head, an average human body head, weighs 25 pounds. Under 9 G's, your head weighs 225 pounds.
Holy shit.
So if you put your
head... It's like a grown man standing on your head. Is that what it feels like?
No, it just feels pressure all over your body. Now, we're wearing G-suits that are squeezing your calf, squeezing your thighs, squeezing your abdomen to keep the blood up in your head. And the F-16 has a ejection seat that's tilted 30 degrees back. So instead of trying to pump blood vertically from your heart to your brain, now it's a little bit of a slant, so it helps. And that keeps your head so you don't black out. And we've lost a lot of guys because they lose consciousness and impact the terrain. They don't wake up in time. There's a danger to it, obviously.
Absolutely.
But you got to be in shape to fly that airplane.
So I guess to rewind back to kind of that selection process, is that why some guys don't make the cut because they can't handle G-force? I mean, is it a genetic thing at all, or is it?
Yeah, some of it is. Some of it, they're couch potatoes. They never went to a gym. They didn't play sports. In the A-10 is the first time we talked about a centrifuge. So this is a little cockpit on about a 30-foot arm that goes around in a room, and it lasts for 3 minutes. Now, not at 9 Gs, but it goes for 3 Gs, up to 6 Gs, back to 2 Gs, now 9 Gs for 15 seconds, and it does it kind of randomly for 3 minutes. And, of course, everything's filmed, and I did it in the A-10. I survived it. I never passed out. And then when I got to the F-16, or when I got to the Colorado Guard, and we got the F-16, now all those guys that flew the A-7 for years and the Colorado Guard, they all had to go through it. And yes, we had guys that did not pass it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So you were able to apply and then make it to this level, which would be a top tier as a pilot, right? Because do some of those pilots that I guess fail out or opt out of the course, do they go on to fly other aircraft like C-130s or like support planes or anything like that?
They do. At the end of pilot training, all your instructors get together on every student and decide on who is FAR, F-A-R, FAR qualified and who is not. FAR qualified fighter attack recce, meaning you're the aircraft commander. It's either a 1-seat or a 2-seat with a Wizzo in the back. If you're not FAR qualified, you're going to go to a 2 or 3 or 4 engine heavy airplane where you're going to sit in the right seat for 3 years before you upgrade to the left seat. And that's a distinction about who got a fighter and who didn't.
Okay. I'm so lucky with my career in rock and roll. One of the coolest things that I ever got to do when I started transitioning into like action sports is I was working for some energy drink companies, and one of them being Red Bull. And it was at the time of the 60-year anniversary of the Air Force. I think it was the 60 year. I hope I got that right. But anyways, long story short, we did a tour setting up these structures on active runways at just about every major Air Force base in the country so they could put on an air show for the weekend. So we would show up on a Monday, and then we would have to build around flight schedules and what was going on because it was an active base at the time. And then they would close the base down, I think, and open it up to the public on the weekend so they could have the Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels. And so we got to see so much aircraft. But the coolest part about that was being on the bases when they were active. Like I vividly remember being at Luke Air Force Base, and we were building right on the flight line. And it was kind of crazy because we got this full like military brief before we even went out there, like, hey, if you cross the flight line, we can literally shoot you, and all this stuff. And like, we had some local like stoner stagehands, and they were like, I didn't sign up for this, man. I only make $10 an hour. I'm probably going to cross the line, like, but the coolest part about that is as we were building and constructing these things, they would line up 5 or 6 jets and launch them off the runway, and you couldn't do anything. I mean, it was so loud and so much going on, and they need such a little runway to take off. But man, it was so impressive just to watch that aircraft.
Luke is a really busy, that's a base where you upgrade to the airplane you're going to go fly. So that's an RTU base. F-16, F-15, and now it's F-35.
Right.
So, and all 3 of those airplanes are extremely loud. And there's 3 different squadrons. So there's probably 150 flights a day.
It was insane. It was like, and you literally couldn't do anything. It was that loud and that impressive, like all work stopped, right?
Yeah.
We're going to watch these planes launch.
Yeah.
So I've got to see some really impressive military aircraft, like super up close, and then getting to know some of the squadrons and stuff like that, and them giving us tours because we were the only civilians on base and stuff like that. It was really, really cool. Do you have a favorite aircraft out of all those aircrafts that you flew? Like one of the ones that I was enamored by, and I think mainly just because of its history, too, is the A-10, the Warthog, is pretty impressive. Like how close it flies to the ground, how much damage it can do, the amount of air support that it provides for, close quarter combat troops and that sort of stuff is pretty impressive.
Well, I think, it's hard. I flew 5 great airplanes. I think the first is probably always your favorite, and the F4 was just huge, just a big piece of machinery that went really fast. The AT-38 was a Ferrari. It's just sleek and fast.
Right.
But it's a trainer. It's a 2-seater. The A-10, guns and I have always gotten along. And that gun in the A-10, it's a 30 millimeter Gatling gun.
Is it that one there in the front?
That is. Yeah. That's the one. The A-10's Avenger cannon. So it fires, it holds 1,110 rounds of 30 millimeter. Each bullet in a 30 millimeter cartridge is a 1 pound slug. Now, if all the guys out there listening are rifle hunters, deer or elk, you're talking about a 170 grain bullet to go elk hunting. Well, I'm talking this is 1 pound, buddy. And it fires at 4,000 rounds per minute. And so...
I don't know if there's something in here, but this was one of the gifts that we got. I don't know if that's not the round.
No,
that's a 40 millimeter.
Yeah,
I think,
that's a little
pretty
bigger.
Close to it.
And our 30 millimeter casing was about here, and the whole cartridge was
That's
about
insane.
there. And so in a combat environment, we would hold a 5-to-1 ratio of API-HEI, armor-piercing incendiary or high-explosive incendiary. So every 5th bullet, we change out with a high incendiary and then go back to the armor-piercing. The accuracy of this gun, go back to the deer hunters, 250 yards, your 30-06, your 7 millimeter mag, it really starts dropping off. If my crosshairs are on the tank at 9,000 feet, that's a mile and a half, the bullet drops 6 inches. It's got a muzzle velocity at 3,800 feet. That's enough about the gun and the A-10. It was a slower airplane. 400 knots max is probably what I've ever seen. Very close to the ground. It was made for troops in contact, close air support. It had a titanium bathtub around it to protect the pilot because you are so low. Then go on to the A-7, the first airplane I flew at the Colorado Guard. Great airplane, computer bombing, South Vietnam, way ahead of its time. It just nails because of the computer bombing system. And then came the F-16. It had a computer bombing system. When we got the airplane, it was a day, VFR, no clouds, rear hemisphere shoot down capability with a AIM-9 missile. When I left it, it's all night, all weather, front aspect, rear aspect. You don't care what the weather is. I can put the bomb 10 feet from where you want it through 30,000 feet of clouds.
Wow. So it evolved that much.
It has evolved tremendously.
That's crazy. What is the evolution of when that starts happening, they just keep improving it. Like a car manufacturer improves a Ferrari, right?
And Bobby, it happens almost so fast, it's hard to keep up with it. If you're a regular flight, a captain or a major flying 4 times a week in a squadron, you can keep up with it. As I got higher up into being the vice wing commander, and I'd fly once, maybe twice a week, I'm going, I got to get over here and get my head in the books because you guys are talking stuff I don't recognize. So it was that hard. So you really had to work at it to keep up.
That's incredible. How is, I guess you were flying quite a bit. If you're flying twice a week, and you mentioned the toll that it takes on your body, is there certain parameters to recovery or how long you can be in the air? Or?
Normally, our sorties, which is a sortie is from takeoff to landing, a flight, a sortie, whatever you want to call it. If we're going out and we're fighting air to air, it's a 0.7, 0.8. of an hour, so 50 minutes, 56 minutes, somewhere in there. If it's an air-to-ground mission, we'll fly a low level through the mountains of Colorado, end up at our bombing range just west of Pueblo, south of Fort Carson, and that might be 1 hour and 15 minutes. Not near as many Gs just on the recovery from dropping a bomb, but if you go out air-to-air for 50 minutes and you're dogfighting, you're a tired boy. And you do that twice in one day, you're really a tired boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are you doing outside of the aircraft for like strength and conditioning? Are there requirements for PT and stuff like that?
There's not really requirements, but if you're in good shape when you start and you're constantly moving, I had a ranch, so I'm always outside. I'm on horses. I'm digging fence posts, whatever, bales of hay. So I was always doing something, staying fit. I lived in a gym in high school and college. I said, I'm not living in a gym again. But I did go somewhat. We played basketball, played golf, stay limber. You got to stay strong too, but just keep moving.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. As a kid, did you grow up here in Colorado? Is that why you...
Born and raised in Joplin, Missouri.
Okay. Nice.
I lived there until I was 15. Unfortunately, I lost my dad when I was 11. Mom remarried 4 years later. When I was 15, we moved to Seattle. Joplin, Missouri to Seattle, Washington.
Wow, shell shock.
There's a culture shock.
Yeah.
And then I finished high school in the Seattle area and then went to college at Central Washington State in Ellensburg, Washington.
Okay. And then did you enlist post-college? Or?
Nope.
Okay.
The ROTC program, Reserve Officer Training Corps, for the last 2 years of college. And now, so on June the 1st, 1974, I graduated from college at 9 o'clock in the morning. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I was commissioned as a second lieutenant.
Wow.
Yeah. And now I had to wait a little bit because of the fuel crisis going on in 74, but I went to pilot training March of 75.
So once you get in and get to where you're an active duty pilot, what is the tempo like at that time? Or what's going on in the world at that point?
Don't blink.
Okay.
Don't blink. You'll miss it.
Really?
It's pretty high tempo.
Yeah.
So once I got into the F4 in North Carolina, we went to Germany quite a few times. We sat alert there, like I talked about, called Zulu alert, air-to-air, air defense alert. That's where I saw my first Bear bomber ever. Then Osan, Korea, a different world. Great flying, great guys that you fly with. And at that time, it's all guys. There were no girls then. And then that was probably 4 to 5 times a week at Osan you're flying. And then off to Holloman as an instructor, that was 10 times a week, twice a day, every week. And out of those 10 flights, 9 of them you're in the back seat with students in the front. One of those flights, you get to be in the front seat. So it's you kept up your back seat landing currency pretty well, and you do that for 3 years. You get good at what you're doing because you're teaching it every day, air to air and air to ground. And then the A-10, oh my gosh, we went everywhere in the A-10, but nothing like when we got in the Colorado Guard. Once I got in the F-16, I had 5 tours in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Really?
Yeah, 5 trips over there. Some trips were 2 weeks, some were a month. Afghanistan, I was on active duty for 6 months. 5 of that, I was in Afghanistan. But we stayed busy. And those were long days, 8-hour missions. So you'd fly today. Tomorrow you would plan for Wednesday. You'd fly Wednesday. Thursday you would plan for Friday. Friday you would fly. So we flew every other day.
Wow. I don't know. I guess I should have asked this question before we started hitting record. Can we talk about some of the stuff that you did, like the first enemy aircraft that you encountered?
I wish I could say I did.
Yeah.
I saw one on radar in North Korea. I've never seen one visually.
Really?
Never seen an enemy airplane. So when we went to Iraq, if you take the country of Iraq, let's just say it's the size of Texas, well, we reduced after the 91 war, we reduced it down to, we'll say, the size of Virginia.
Really?
So we didn't let them fly within the whole country of Iraq. This was called Provide Comfort, either North Provide Comfort or Southern Provide Comfort. If it was North, we flew out of Turkey, Incirlik Air Base, Turkey. And if it was Southern Provide Comfort, we flew out of, can't even think of it now, little bitty country just south of Iraq.
Can look it up. Pull it up. Pull up Iraq on a map.
I'll think of
Tyler.
it here in a second.
That's what Tyler's here for.
So
keep me in line.
So those guys would flirt with us and come at us. Then they'd turn around and run back. It was a cat and mouse game. Never saw an enemy aircraft over there.
Just because our aircraft and pilots are superior, or is it?
Our weapons, our pilots, our airplanes are all very superior. Yeah.
It's awesome. Go America.
Let's see. Gosh, why can't I think of the country that we flew out of?
You said it was south of there? Is it Yemen?
Southwest. Oh, no.
Okay.
Southeast of
Here we go. Now we got it. Now we can see.
Iraq. Kuwait City. Kuwait.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't think of it. So we flew out of a air base there out of Kuwait. And so if you see the country of Iraq right there, now picture that 1/3 the size, and that's what we allowed them to fly in. So we're crossing the border of Iraq, both on the south and the north, but we're not letting them fly out.
If you're not checking out the Mountainside Podcast on YouTube, you absolutely should be. If you like the content that we create here and you want to help support the podcast, please take a moment, subscribe to us on YouTube, and hit that notification bell. So the Bear Bomber incident, what was your first
Well, that was probably the first one.
active mission?
That was in 77 or 78, sitting alert, and I think 13 or 16 miles starts international water off of any coast, and they came into 10 miles.
Really?
So we launched 2 F-4s. I was a wingman then, and we did an intercept on the Bear Bomber, and backseaters got cameras, and they're taking pictures and all that stuff. We do a 180, and now we pick up on radar another one, 10 miles in trail, but right above the Atlantic Ocean at 5,000 feet. So we did an intercept on him too. It's another cat and mouse game. They're just playing with us. We're playing with them.
So you think it was a show of force or a flex type?
It was not really a show of force. They shouldn't have been at 10 miles. Mm-hmm. They should have stayed outside of that, but that happens all the time. In Alaska, they see Bear bombers, Russian bombers
planes,
all
right?
the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And they're just testing our alert.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think they do it with the Navy quite a bit too,
But
right?
The first time that, the first incident, we are 2000. So I deployed 95 and 2000 to Northern Provide Watch, 97, 98 to Southern Provide Comfort, Southern Watch. Northern Watch 2000, we take off out of Incirlik, we fly across Syria, towards the northern part of Turkey. We all tank. There's 40 airplanes. We all get filled up with fuel by
in the air.
Wow. By air-to-air refueling. And we got lots of different airplanes, and we push in at whatever the push time is, and we go in. And 10 minutes later, there's this little, I'm just going to call it a 7-Eleven store, and he's got a SAM sitting next to him, surface-to-air missile, that lights us up almost every day. And sometimes he fires, sometimes he didn't. We got fired upon and did an evasive maneuver, and the missile missed us. We've got F-15s at 36,000 feet. We're calling them. They break and put out flares and chaff. Nobody gets hit, but this guy does it every time. But we can't drop on him because of collateral damage.
Really?
This goes on for weeks. So at the end of the day...
Which you could have just smoked them in the first day, right?
Sure. Yeah, we're carrying laser-guided GBU-12s,
right.
500-pound laser-guided bomb. So one day on the way home, It's a 45-minute trip. And I'm going, I'm getting tired of this guy shooting at us all the time.
Whoops.
So I had this thought, and I go back, I talk to my boss, and he calls the wing commander, and we go in and see the wing commander. Okay, Buck, what do you got? And I said, do you have any concrete bombs here? Because back in the States, we train with 500-pound, 2,000-pound, 1,000-pound.
So those are like bunker bombs, right? Like
no, these are just concrete. There's no explosion. There's nothing.
Oh, really?
We just carry them so we know what it feels like carrying all that weight and what it feels like once you get rid of it. So it's a dummy round, basically. It's a dummy. It's a piece of concrete. So I said, do you have any on the base? And so he calls his munitions guys. And they go, yeah, I think we got 4 or 5 of them or something. What do you want to do? And I said, let's put an $80,000 guidance unit on the front of that thing. And the next time that guy lights us up, put a 600-pound Volkswagen or a 500-pound Volkswagen going 600 miles an hour on his head.
Car crash.
So I go home that night. I come back in the next morning. I'm driving in because now I'm going to plan for the next day. And the F-16s are taxiing out for their 8-hour routine. Well, a live Mark 82 is olive green with yellow stripes. A training munition is solid blue, no explosives. Here comes an F-16 with a green and yellow and a blue, one on one wing and one on the other. And here comes a second F-16, green and yellow on one wing and a blue on the other. I went, son of a bitch. I should have kept my mouth shut till this morning. And sure enough, they took off. The guy lit them up. He's had the same coordinates for the last month, probably.
Right.
So he fires at him. They go back out, turn back in. The guy didn't know what hit him. So here came a Volkswagen literally at 600 miles an hour and hit him.
That's crazy.
We didn't hear from him again.
So when they say a 500-pound, is that the weight of it?
Yeah, that's the weight of it, not the explosive part. The explosive on a 500-pound is roughly 150 pounds of explosive.
Okay.
But it's sending a lot of shrapnel. And it'll send it 2,500 feet.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
One of my favorite follows on Instagram is WeKBD, or WEKBD, and that's all it is. It's just actual footage
of shit blowing up.
Of shit blowing up, yeah. Houses, tanks.
The guys flying the A-10s in the 91 war, they made a name for themselves. Together with the Maverick missile and the gun with 1,100 and some odd rounds, they destroyed a lot of tanks. The A-10 guys everybody was a hero. And that war was so well run. Let us do the air part for a couple of weeks, soften everything down, then we'll send the Army in with their tanks, and we won't have near the collateral damage. And it was true. Chuck Horner did a great job running that air campaign. And I've known General Horner from Seymour Johnson to Holloman in New Mexico to right here at Space Command in Colorado Springs. Just an outstanding individual.
Yeah, it's incredible. I guess in the training aspect of it, when you're shooting live missiles, and how much do you guys get to shoot live stuff like dummy tanks and?
So as far as air-to-air missiles, they're pretty expensive. So when I was flying the F-4 in Osan Air Base, Korea, we deployed to the Philippines where I got to fire a real AIM-7 and a real AIM-9. AIM-7 is radar-driven. AIM-9 is a heat seeker. So I got to fire both of those there. That's the only air-to-air missiles I've ever fired. Live weapons hitting the ground, I can't tell you how many hundreds that I've dropped.
Is there a team of guys just building dummy houses out of cinder blocks or something? I mean, because you can blow them up a lot faster than you can build them, right?
That's true. Yeah. But the Nellis ranges are a vast area of ranges north and west of Vegas, to where there's probably not a live animal out there anywhere.
Not anymore.
And they take whatever stuff we steal or admonish from other countries, and we put stuff out there, and a lot of it's fake, but it looks real. So yeah,
it's like going to the 3D archery range.
Yeah. So we've had a good opportunity in my career to drop live munitions a lot. And the gun in the A-10, that was twice daily. If you flew twice, you fired the gun on every mission. In the A-7, you fired the gun on every mission. F-16 fired the gun on every mission. So, yeah, the air-to-air missiles, they're a little expensive.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But air-to-ground stuff's a little cheaper and a little easier to build.
What is that like sitting in the aircraft, firing a gun or sending a missile? Are you actually seeing it hit the target, or are you gone by then?
No. Oh, no. So the AIM-7 or the AMRAAM missile is a launch. The AIM-7 is not. The AIM-7 is you've got to have it locked up the entire time till impact. But the AMRAAM missile, I can fire it head-on from a range that I'm not going to mention. And after it gets this range to the target, I can turn around and leave, and that missile is going to hit the target. The AIM-9, of course, most of the time you're somewhere in the rear hemisphere, but you can fire it from any aspect, and you're probably going to see that hit before you leave. Air-to-air, shooting the dart. So another fighter tows this dart 1,500 feet behind it, and you see the splatter. If you hit it, you'll see the sparkles on it, so you'll see it. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, it's instantaneous feedback. You know how you did. And that's a good thing.
It's that fast.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it blows me away, like watching that page and seeing how fast. I mean, it just looks like the sun was lit, like, or somebody turned on a light switch.
Yeah. And with the ordnance we have now, in Vietnam, they were just starting to come out with guidance type units, but most of it was dumb bombs. You got a mill setting and you pickle, but you missed the bridge. Now you're working with a FAC, a forward air controller on the ground, and he says, I want you to hit this building. Here's the coordinates. And we could come back and say, well, do you want the whole building? What's your desire? And he goes, well, I guess the southwest corner. And we could come back and say, which window do you want it in?
Really?
Because the laser-guided bombs are plus or minus 10 feet.
Are those also the ones that can go through like several walls and then detonate? Or
well, it's not the mother of all bombs, the Moab bomb that Trump just used on the Iraq.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to go through that. But the GBU-12 or the GBU-24, a 500-pounder or 2,000-pounder, it'll do a lot of damage. It'll go through a hangar, make the inside of the hangar look like spaghetti, burned up spaghetti. So it'll go through quite a few feet of concrete.
That's what's so impressive about all this aircraft to me is just like the capabilities of it. And then it's impressive just to see it flying. Like we're fortunate enough to see probably the Colorado Air National Guard.
Yep.
Fly F-16s through Evergreen.
You bet.
Every once in a while, all the time, honestly.
And especially on the 4th of July.
Oh yeah, Grand Lake, right?
Yeah,
do you guys do a flyby there?
I did that for years.
Did you? That's awesome.
One thing I haven't told you, besides 34 years in the military, I was born on the 4th of July.
Really?
I was born with a flag in my hand.
Cheers, brother.
Thank you, sir.
We're a very patriotic podcast, so.
I can tell. So one of my favorite things to do on my birthday, we always did a 4-ship in the morning and a 4-ship in the afternoon. And the 4-ship in the morning would come through here or Ouray or Colorado Springs. I've had up to 14 TOTs, time on targets, to do in a 2-hour period. And I'd always do the morning because in the afternoon I was doing this.
What? That's a hell of a way to spend your birthday, huh?
And all the Rockies games, the
Broncos
games. I can't tell you how many flybys I've led or participated in. And most of them I've led, but I've been in a bunch of them.
That's incredible, man. That is so cool as a spectator, like having those flybys happen.
Yeah.
It's one of the coolest things. It's like something that stands out in your mind, like
and
from the event.
We're able to do it and still do training. So we'll go up and do, it's not dedicated. Now, 4th of July is dedicated to all the flybys. But like for the Rockies, we'd go out and do a mission and then, okay, call it 15 minutes short. Let's go back, do the flyby. And so we'd please 70,000 some spectators in person and however many are watching on TV, but we still got our training done. So it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
That's incredible. It's such a rock and roll job, man.
It was a cool job. I'm not an ex-fighter pilot. I'm a retired fighter pilot.
Yeah.
I loved what I did, and I loved all the assignments, and my great wife suffered through me being gone a lot, raising 2 kids when I wasn't there. So, but yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Do you still fly today?
I do. I part owner with 3 other guys with a 1965 Beach Bonanza.
Okay.
The V-tail.
Oh, yeah.
What they call the Doctor Killer. I'll bet he's going to show a picture of this pretty quick. So love the airplane. It's a great cross-country airplane. I have a place in Nebraska. There it is right there. It's fast. It's economical. It's just a fun airplane to fly. And in fact, my wife and I are going to Sturgis on Monday.
Oh, nice.
With our airplane. We got a couple up there that got a house for a month, and we're just going to go up for a couple of days, play golf, visit them, and then fly back home.
It's beautiful country up there, especially this time of year.
Yes, it is. It is.
So, I mean, is it hard? Is it hard to get a thrill now after flying the F-16 for that many years? Do you still enjoy it? I mean, you got to miss that, right?
Well, what I miss is because I live 8 miles off the end of the runway, and all those bastards know exactly where I live.
So you miss sleeping in the morning?
And they come by and light the burner and let me know they're there.
That's awesome.
I don't miss the aerobatics, all that. I miss flying the jet. Mm-hmm. I miss the people. I don't miss the BS.
The camaraderie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I still fly the Bonanza. I still love to fly. I got back into radio-controlled airplanes, so I'm flying those.
Oh, really?
Not quite the same, but still fun.
They make radio-controlled jets now, don't they? Or so?
Oh, get out your checkbook.
Oh, I bet. What does one of those things cost?
You could spend $100,000. Yeah, they're not cheap.
That's crazy.
Or you can spend a very little and still have fun.
Right.
So, yeah. So I still have my own airplane and fly it quite a bit.
It's got to be something. I've always been fascinated by it. It's got to be something that's kind of in your blood, though, I think, that never leaves, right? Like most pilots that I know, I have a lot of friends that are pilots, and they love to fly. They'll fly anywhere.
It's the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
Yeah. Oh, man. So dialing it back a little bit here and getting into a little bit more of the standout moments in your career. Do you have anything that, like, from the start to stop that, because I think one of the reasons why you said yes to this, probably don't say yes to very many of these, right?
No.
Shout out to Jansen for making this connection and kind of the precedent that we've set here with some other military guys. I think that I normally don't pry. I got a million questions for you, so if I'm asking too many, please let me know. But, like, are there some moments, or one of the reasons why you said yes to this is you mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast, is it's a way for you to kind of archive and tell your story and make it archivable for your kids or grandkids or their grandkids. Hopefully someday we'll be listening to this, right? I guess to kind of take it back, what were like some of the highlights? And we have as much time as you want, man. Like we're 40 minutes in now, but I have as much time as you guys have this evening. So like I don't want to cut you short on anything. So,
well, highlights would probably be meeting my wife, that I got a 4-year-old young man along with that marriage that I raised. And then 10 years later, we had number 2 son, and they are both, if you want to talk about them, we can do that. Unfortunately, they're both in California, both in LA, but they are busting it wide open with what they do. We can go into that a little later.
yeah.
Getting a fighter out of pilot training. I knew that was the most important 52 weeks of my life. Before that, I had a Corvette, I had a ski boat, I had a bird dog, I had a shotgun, I had a hang glider, I had a dirt bike, and I go, I can't do all this.
Right.
And except for the dog, everything went at the shotgun, and I went to pilot training and busted my ass, and it paid off. And that's why I was able to accomplish what I did.
You have to be really dedicated.
I had to be dedicated. I had to work hard. I had to be the best of the best. And I remember lots of times taking check rides where I knew I just aced this thing because I practiced, made it work. Then when I got into the F-16 here at Buckley, because I'm a full-time technician, I also have to be qualified as an instructor. So when I went to Wichita for 3 months, two months was transition into the airplane, and I finished that on a Wednesday before Thanksgiving. The following Monday, I start the instructor pilot upgrade. And now I'm given the briefings. I'm in the back seat. I'm having to take back seat landing currencies, check rides, night. I think I took 7 check rides in a 3-month period there. And I came back as a qualified instructor after 3 months. And now the other guys that went through the same program the first 2 months come back as mission qualified. And then there's probably 6 or 7 of us instructors, fly with them to get them mission ready. Now they're ready to go deploy. And when those deployments came up, it's all volunteer. And every one of them, I guarantee you, Bobby, my arm was the highest in the air.
Really?
I'm ready to go. Let's go. And my wife understood it. And knowing the dangers, knowing whatever, most of the time it was pretty easy going. There was a couple of harrowing times, but let's go.
Thank you.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. No, that's the level of service. And I think you guys probably did so much training to actual real life scenarios, right? Like the amount of
every day. Every sortie was
Stay
training.
ready.
You bet. And we would concentrate on certain things: air to air, air to ground, air interdiction, close air support, all of it. We had to have so many of them, of these types of sorties each 6 months.
There's so many different platforms too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're dealing with other airplanes. Like you said, Nellis, the big thing there is called red flag. And they run a 2-week red flag probably 12 times a year. And there are 200 jets, bombers, tankers, you got it all. And from other different countries.
Yeah.
And now they're getting countries that fly the MiGs, East Germany, if you will, or Poland, or whomever may come with real-life MiGs.
Yeah, the amount of aircraft that I've seen there has been unreal.
The amount of jet fuel they go through there
oh
is
my gosh.
unreal.
I sure hope they're refining it there. I hope they're not trucking all that in because it's a lot, man.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
You should tell them about it.
Oh, in the A-10?
Yeah.
So in the A-10, we had I got to think what they called it. Every 3 months, we would have a turkey shoot. And it would last for one day. You got one chance at it. And
Actual turkeys? No, I'm just joking.
So you're going to the bombing range and you're dropping bombs and you're shooting the gun. And this gun, I touched on it earlier, is just so accurate that it's not uncommon for a training mission. You had 100-round belt. It is not uncommon for a few of us to shoot 100 for 100. I've done it many times.
Really?
So in a turkey shoot, when you got 8 or 10 guys that can shoot 100 for 100, how do you decide who wins? So here's how you win. We made 3 passes. So today's turkey shoot is whoever shoots 33, 33, and 34, which makes 100. Mm-hmm. And next quarter, it's whoever shoots 33, 34, and 33. We varied it up.
So you're having to time the gun?
You are, that's 50 rounds. So that's 100 right there at 4,000 rounds a minute.
That's insane.
So before the turkey shoot, you'd go out and practice a little bit. But this one turkey shoot, I'm flying with my squadron commander, and I'm number 3. And my first bomb, bull. I hit the target. Second, we're carrying 6 bombs. Second one, bull. Third one, bull. Fourth one, bull. Fifth one, bull. I'm on downwind, and he pulls off of his. He goes, okay, 3, don't screw this up. And it went unbelievably long, like unscorable at 12 o'clock, because he's got me like this, and I'm going, I was nice and cool and calm and collected.
Until he tells you
until he said, don't screw this up.
You can curse on here, too, if you want to. We're not a kid's show.
I know. I'll try to keep it halfway polite.
I try to be good, because when I go back and listen to myself, I'm just like, you sound like an idiot. So I think it comes with age, right? That wisdom. Tyler, pull up some video of them shooting that gun out of the A-10. Like, I've seen some video, but just see if you can find something because it is jaw-droppingly impressive. Yeah. So you're really, it's 100 rounds in 3 trigger pulls, and it's almost like a trigger press, right? Like
it's like 2 seconds each time.
That's so insane.
If you hold it any longer than that, you'll just melt the barrels.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can't go brrrr.
Yeah.
The barrels won't be there when you're done.
I mean, it's faster than...
The bullets are leaving the barrels at 3,800 feet per second. A normal deer, elk rifle, 2,700 feet per second. And then look at the difference in the size of the bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a great video because it has no music, so we won't get... Oh, my God, dude.
You don't want to see that coming at you.
That's
you won't see it coming at you, really, right? Like
that's one of those kiss your ass goodbye.
Yeah. So this has got to be on a training range or something, right?
It is.
Yeah,
it's probably at Nellis.
So
that's an APC, an armored personnel carrier.
As far as communication goes, and this could be a long rabbit hole that we go down, but call signs and that sort of stuff. How do you get to pick your own call sign, or
Nope.
No? It's just like nicknames for.
A lot of times it's a nickname. So my dad was known as Buck. I was known as Buck since little kid. My second born son, Jonathan, he was known as Buck. And it was all because of the last name of Buckingham. Well, then I got to Buckley, and I get checked out in the A-7, and we deployed to Canada. And I'm leading a 40-ship package. And I didn't even think about it when I said
40
this.
planes?
Yeah, 40 different planes.
Wow.
So I am the mission commander. So I'm given the briefing. So in Canada, the way you do it is you stand up, you introduce yourself, you tell a joke, you brief the mission. You go fly it, you come back, you go eat, you all gather up around again, you introduce yourself again, you tell a joke, and you debrief the mission. Well, I got up there and introduced myself, and I said, I'm Buckingham from Buckley. And that got more laughs than my joke did. Right. From then on, I was known as Buckingham from Buckley, and it just worked out that way. But other guys, it's because they screwed something up with the airplane, or it's because of their last name. In particular, I know of a guy named Byrne, so his call sign was Smokey.
Okay.
I know 2 guys right here in Evergreen. One is Brew, and one is McDo, McDonald and Brewer, and they're both guys that flew with me and live right here in Evergreen. But most of the time, it's because you screwed something up.
Right.
Or you blew a tire, or you did whatever. The one guy that I'm going to talk about in a little while.
So there's not too many Icemans and Mavericks. And,
that's Hollywood shit.
Okay.
The guy that I had on my wing during 9/11, I'll just tell you his whole name, Jerome Dick, D-Y-C-K. Call sign, Needle.
Nice.
And we'll
Yes.
We'll talk about that in a little while.
Shout out.
Shout out to Needle.
Yeah.
He's the best wingman in the world.
That's awesome.
It was a big day that day.
Yeah, that's what you need as a wingman. Somebody, never mind. We're going too deep now. So your call sign, does it stick with you throughout your career? Like once it's assigned,
34 years.
Do all the the generals, whoever, air traffic control, do they all know your call sign? Or
No, the air traffic control doesn't. They know your aircraft call sign. And we were Red Eye, R-E-D-E-Y-E, or R-E-D-I. Red Eye 01 was the wing commander.
Gotcha.
Red Eye 02 was the vice wing commander. That was me. So if I'm leading a flight, it's Red Eye 02. But they knew that. When you're working with AWACS and you're talking to the AWACS controllers, fighting at red flag or whatever, they may know your call sign, but they're still going to use Red Eye 1, 2, 3, 4, that sort of thing. On the ground is when we use Buck or Bobby or
Gotcha.
Needle or Brew or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
We had one guy that put on a motorcycle helmet. The jukebox was sticking. And he put on a motorcycle helmet and crashed his head through the jukebox. And to unstick this one record, thus call sign Packer. One of my good friends.
yeah,
True Ire.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have that sort of stuff, right?
Oh,
Because
you
if
do.
not, life
You
would just
do.
be dull,
Yeah.
right? Well, I mean, not for you probably flying fighter jets, but
There
it makes
wasn't-
it that much more fun, right?
There wasn't too many dull moments. You know, you get those 8, 10, 12-hour flights across the ocean. Those get a little mundane, but you got 7 or 8 or 9 air refuelings to kind of break it up. And you play certain games because we've got an F-16 qualified guy on the tanker. So he will get out. I forget the name of the game, but he goes, okay, Red Eye 1. Okay, we just finished refueling. So we're away from the tankers. We're just flying along. Red Eye 1, what's the largest freshwater river in the Mississippi? Okay, so we go through those. Whoever scores the least has to buy all the first rounds once we land.
Nice.
So we keep the thought process
some
going.
trivia,
Keep you awake.
yeah.
Yeah, trivia game. Keep your mind going.
So, because you can't just go afterburners across,
We're going across the pond just like you would on Delta Flight 14.
really, that same speed.
500 miles an hour.
Okay, to conserve fuel?
You bet.
So it's an 8-hour flight then.
Oh, I've had 12.
Damn.
Yeah.
What is it? What is the cockpit like? Do you have any room to like stretch out or move your legs or?
Nope.
Damn.
You gotta
can't get up and go to the bathroom.
Nope.
Fuck.
That's what
me.
that's what pill packs are for.
Is that a catheter or what?
No.
Okay.
It's a big baggie with a dried up sponge in it, so you won't slosh around, and it's still not that
Especially if
easy.
you go inverted.
You don't do that on ocean crossings
Hopefully, yeah.
because you got your lunch over here, your thermos, your drink, your
Right.
whatever. So you're refueling about every 45 minutes or so. Not because you need the gas, but because there's a place in the Atlantic, a 45-minute period. If something happens and you're not full of gas, you're not going to make a runway. So we tend to stay topped off. We'll burn down a third of it, but then let's hook back up and get it filled all the way up, because who knows what happens to
So
that.
the tanker's pretty much got to be flying with you the whole
Oh, he
trip,
is with us
right?
the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it may be 4 tankers. In the F4, it was 4 or 6 tankers because it was the F4 was not fuel efficient.
Yeah.
It's not.
So
near
are
as
those
rhythm.
guys assigned to you as this
Nope.
squadron? or-
Nope.
okay.
We'll meet up with them. Okay, they're taking off out of McConnell. You'll meet up with them over in New York right before you go feet wet. You'll all hook up, test your systems. Okay, you go feet wet, we're ready to go. And we got 2 spares behind us. So if one of the main airplanes can't make it, can't refuel, we'll trade him out and get a spare up here. And then they'll land at D.C. with our D.C. Guard unit there.
This is a really stupid question, but do they ever, because it takes a certain type of equipped aircraft to land on an aircraft carrier, right? Like you can't just land a normal F-16. You got to have.
They are never going to allow an Air Force fighter pilot land an Air Force airplane on a Navy boat.
Yeah.
Because how much damage are we going to do?
Right.
They're going to say, fly alongside, punch out. The helicopter's right here. We'll have you out of the water in 3 minutes.
Got you.
That's what they're going to say.
So that is the crash plan, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out to Eric Tilley, one of our guests that was on. He's now a super high level strength and conditioning coach for a lot of professional athletes, mostly like UFC fighters and tennis players, all kinds of different people. But he was part of a fire crew on an aircraft carrier.
No.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Most of the time that doesn't happen. However, there have been terrific incidents, just unbelievable incidents on aircraft carriers. So, yeah, and it spreads quick.
Can imagine that could be the end of the whole ship at that point, right?
You bet.
Yeah, that's insane. It's an insane world. I don't know that I could do that, being stuck at sea.
6 months.
It's a way.
And you're probably sharing a bed.
Probably.
The pilots probably are not, but all the guys that work on the ship, I'm at work and you're sleeping in this bed and I get off.
No way.
You go work and I sleep in the same bed. I change the sheets.
Right.
But you're sharing a bunk because there's 24 hours a day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. And it's little.
Yeah. I've had plenty of bunk time being in tour buses and stuff, but those are luxury, I'm sure, compared to what the military gives you.
You bet they are. You bet they are.
So going back to like call signs and communicating, how much communication do you have from commands and that sort of stuff, especially when you get in to flying the A-10 and you're doing close air support or ground support? What is the kind of the communication and like protocols and them, so you're not hitting friendlies, I guess?
Okay, so I mentioned this term a little bit ago, FAC, forward air controller. You could have an AFAC, an airborne forward air controller, or a GFAC, a ground forward air controller.
Okay.
You can check in with the air, check in with the ground. It just depends on the situation. But when you check in, it kind of goes like this. This is Red Eye 1 checking in with 4 F-16s. He goes, okay, Red Eye 1, go ahead. So I'll tell him what we're carrying, the types of munitions, the play time we have, how much time I can spend in the air because of the fuel I've got. And I think that's about it. Now, he's going to come back with what we call a 9-line briefing. And it's been too long, Bobby. I can't tell you what all those 9 lines are, but he's going to tell you the target. He's going to give you the coordinates. He's going to give you friendlies. He's going to tell you what the threat is. He's going to tell you the safest way to escape if you're hit. Elevation. There's a lot of things he's going to tell you. There's required 5 or 6 of those you have to read back, especially coordinates. Mm-hmm. Guys have screwed this up before and killed friendlies before because of that. So you read that back, and it could be a low threat, so you're just circling the target up above, or it could be a high threat, so you're 10 miles away. So he's going to give you an IP, initial point to go to, the run-in heading, what the situation is, what the target looks like.
So those guys got to have their shit together just as much as you guys, though, right?
Absolutely,
Because if they fuck up.
Because when I get to the IP and I turn left to 090 and I pop, this is the first time I've been able to look at the target.
Right.
So now there's tanks in the open. Okay, that's pretty easy. Is it a bridge? Okay, that's pretty easy. Is it concealed AAA under foliage covers? And oh my God, what am I looking at? So yeah, the close air support is probably the most demanding because you're dealing with the enemy and friendlies. Mm-hmm. And you definitely don't want to hit friendlies. And there's a lot of great movies from 91 interviewing the A-10 guys.
Really?
When they were doing close air support.
Like documentary type stuff?
You bet.
Okay.
You bet.
I'll have to go down that rabbit hole.
Bunch of heroes
sometime.
there. Bunch of heroes.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. What are they marking targets at all with like
they can
lasers
do that?
and
or
something?
That's a good question. So first off, if it's an airborne FAC in the early Vietnam days, later on in my career, they would fire smoke. So it's a Willie Pete white phosphorus smoke. And they'd fire it and they go, either if he was really good, hit my smoke because I fired this on the target.
Oh, so they're like a smoke grenade.
It's only a smoke grenade. It doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah.
If he's not quite so good or the winds are bad or whatever, okay, you see my smoke? Tally smoke. 200 meters to the west, 200 meters to the north, 100 meters to the south. And that'll kind of get your eyes on the target. Nowadays, with the laser-guided bombs, that was a great question you had. So me and the F-16, I can find the target on my screen, put the crosshairs on it, designate with the laser, it stays locked on. I can drop a bomb from 28,000 feet, 7 miles away is where it comes off. I can check 30 degrees left, and I can watch the bomb hit the target. That's one way. My targeting pod does not work today, but I'm carrying 2 laser-guided bombs. Each bomb has its own code. I can tell you, Bobby, my wingman, this is a code for this bomb. You can designate the target. I can go in, release the bomb, I leave, and you designate the target all the way in, and it hits.
Really?
There's a third way. The guy on the ground has what they call a mule, and it's a designator. I give him the 4 or 6 digit code of my bomb. He enters it in. He designates a target. I drop the bomb, and he lasers it all the way into the target. Then, in Afghanistan, what was the main target in Afghanistan? Caves on the side of mountains. Now it's a whole different story, and it's A-10s. It's A-10s forever.
Huge munitions, right? Because you're going through earth and...
Well, they're going in a cave, and they just want to blow the whole thing shut. So now, because of the speed and because of the A-10 and because of the vertical, it's not a horizontal target, it's a vertical target. And as I go into the cave, as I turn left, that hole kind of disappears. So they go in tandem, 3 to 5 miles in trail, and the trail A-10 designates the hole in the mountain, and once he calls captured, the lead A-10 drops the bomb, the lead A-10 gets out of the way. Well, this guy's got another 3 miles to go, so he's right here when the bomb finally hits.
That's fascinating.
So it's called buddy lasing. Buddy bomb, buddy lasing. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It works really well.
That's incredible. How often were you guys flying when you were deployed? Were you deployed to Afghanistan? Did you?
I did, but I went there as a vice wing commander.
Okay.
I was not there in a fly. I did fly, but that wasn't my primary job. That was probably the best assignment, best TDY I've ever had, just because you're in command. And my boss was a 1-star general, General Bruce Berta, and he was a heavy driver, C-130, 141 guy, and I am there for his last 6 months in the service. When I leave and he leaves, he's retiring from the Air Force. So in his last 6 months, because you're a flag officer, a general officer, the Air Force is going to give you classes to get ready for the civilian world, job opportunities, whatever. So of my 6 months that I was there, he was gone 4.5 months of it. So I was commanding the wing, and it was a tremendous opportunity. It was sometimes very gratifying, sometimes I cried my eyes out because we lost so many guys for whatever reason and had to witness that. God, now I forgot what your initial question was.
I kind of forgot it too, man. Let's dive into the commanding the air wing deployed. I was asking as far as deployments, like how much of it was in Afghanistan and Iraq, but like this is fascinating about the wing commander on base, right? Are you a colonel at this point?
I am. I'm a full colonel.
Okay.
So I'll tell you a couple of instances. It's kind of funny. It wasn't funny at the time, but Nordo, call sign Nordo, Gary North, is a 3-star CFAC at Al Udeid. He is over everybody in that region. Okay? So now Bruce Berta, my wing commander, is gone. I'm the acting wing commander, and every Friday we have a secure video with about 8 of us wing commanders and General North. General North has just taken over just after I got there. So we're both pretty new at this. So I remember 3 instances. The base is about 8 miles long. I was at Bagram Air Base, Afghanistan, surrounded by a fence. The only thing that I authorized, I was in charge of the runway and the airfield. The 2-star Army general was in charge of the whole base. And on this base, we had the Navy compound, we had the Ethiopia compound, we had a South Korean compound, we had the Air Force, the Navy, the Marines, the Army. So it was very different. The good news is the food
and
was...
a busy base, right?
And a busy base. I got to tell you one thing about Afghanistan. You go to Europe and they're, depending on what country you're in, they're plus 1 hour, plus 2 hours. Afghanistan, the only country in the world, we are plus 4.5 hours. 4.5. I'd never heard of that. I learned that the first day I got there, and I just
really? That's
I gave it the old puppy dog look going, what? Anyway.
What is the reasoning?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't really care, man.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's wild, though. Like,
so
just to be different, right?
We all these different camps have flagpoles, and you're all flying whatever flag, Navy, Marine, country. And, of course, Camp Cunningham, not Buckingham, but Camp Cunningham is the Air Force camp. And it was named after a private or enlisted guy that was killed there. Oh, that's another thing I need to tell you about. So, we're flying the American flag, obviously. So the 10th Mountain Division from New York comes in with a 2-star general and says, we're all going to take down the American flag and we're all putting up the Afghanistan flag. And I walked out of the meeting and go, I'm not.
What?
I'm not. Show partnership with the country. I said, I'm not. So first off, I'll go into that a little later. So this goes on for about 3 or 4 weeks, and all the other camps put up the Afghanistan, not Camp Cunningham. And on a Friday video with General North, I didn't ask him. I told him, and I said, I'm not doing it. He goes, you better not. I go, good. We both agree. I'm not going to do it. So now his highest enlisted is meeting with my highest enlisted. And he tells my highest enlisted, listen, the general is really upset with Colonel Buckingham. He's not taking down that flag. And my highest enlisted said to him, you better tell your boss that Colonel Buckingham is not taking down the American flag. And he knew I was born on the 4th of July and 30-some years in the military at this point, and da-da-da-da-da. This was in 06. So I'm going to tie this all together. I went in January of 06. July of 05, if you're familiar with the movie Lone Survivor.
Yep.
Okay. Marcus Luttrell was the only survivor. That happened in July of 05. When I got there in 06, that's all anybody talked about.
Operation Red Wing, right? They
correct.
lost. It's the biggest loss of Navy, special operations community has suffered.
Yeah.
And the 160th. Like, it was 2 full Chinooks, basically.
Yeah, it was.
It's insane.
And then those 4 on the ground and got caught by the sheep herder and his son and talked about whether they should eliminate the threat or not, and they decided not to, and of course that was their fate. I'm going to digress a little bit. My oldest son, Scott, and he kept his father's name Elrod, which was also a fighter pilot in the Air Force and the Navy. Mm-hmm. In fact, he and I flew against each other. Scott was a IT guy when he was 19, 20 years old, and this company owed him lots of money. And said, we owe you a lot of money, but I don't think we need you. You're fired. He goes, okay. Well, Mom and Dad, I'm going to L.A. I'm going to become a movie star. We go, Okay. Okay, good luck, I guess. So he goes to L.A., and he hires a coach and hires a manager and makes some movies, and I'm not going to go into detail, but his goal was to produce Lone Survivor and B. Marcus Luttrell. Somebody beat him to it, but hired him to be one of the guys in the movie.
Oh, nice.
So Scotty was not one of the four
Main actors, yeah.
not the Rangers, but what were
It
they?
was a SEAL team.
SEAL team.
Yeah.
But he was one of the SEALs. This was filmed at Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico, out of Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And so Scott was he got a part as a SEAL team member, but at the base, not one of the four that went out. And later became very good friends with Marcus Luttrell.
Okay.
So, at any rate, here we are back in Afghanistan, and we got
So you show up right after Operation Red Ring.
6
right?
months.
And this is when they're telling you to take the flag down.
6 months. I've been there 2 weeks. My boss is now gone, and they're telling me to take the flag down. And of course, violent. No way. You got to shoot me first. So I had a thought one night, and I met with my senior enlisted advisor, and I go,
Doesn't involve a concrete bomb, does it?
no.
Okay.
But
Just
do you know of another flagpole on this base? He goes, let me do some digging. Now, the trouble is, in the 80s, the Russians went over to fight the Afghanis,
right.
and the Afghanis beat their asses.
And that's why they have a lot of the shit that they were fighting us with, right? Like
Well, so when they get their ass beat, I had dinner one night with a 2-star Russian general, and he's the one that told me this story. We got our ass beat, just like you're going to get your asses beat. And you're wasting time, you're wasting money, you're killing people. When they decided to leave, they loaded up hundreds of thousands of anti-personnel mines in the back of helicopters, got in a formation, and flew over the entire base and took push brooms and pushed all these anti-personnel mines out of the back of a helicopter. There's nobody on the ground, and it sat there for years. Sand, dust, dirt, covered them up. I can't tell you how many people got arms and legs blown up. Long before I got there, long after I got there.
So the Russians did this back
The Russians did this in 84, 83?
Yeah, it was
somewhere in there.
around that time, right?
So to put a shovel in the ground, you have to demine the ground. So we're building a brand new runway because the runway we got, the Russians built 10-foot by 10-foot concrete squares. There's 6 to 8 inches difference in blocks sometimes. So you got to have big tires that are not going to get hurt. That's why the A-10 was there. So they're building a new runway. And they got a Caterpillar D9 with a 200-foot boom with a 50-gallon barrel that's hydraulically driven, welded 5-foot chains on it, beating the ground. Boom.
Oh, I've seen those.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. And they cover, 24 square feet in a day. It's just taken forever. So at any rate, you got any idea about another flagpole? Yeah, I found one. D-mine, 10 feet away from this flagpole. Let's make sure it's 2 feet shorter and put it up and put an Afghani flag on it. But the tallest one is going to remain with the red, white, and blue.
Nice.
Within 2 months, every camp had 2 flagpoles. That's the first incident I had with that commander. I'm not even going to talk about the other one, but the biggest thrill of my life is when I'm there and my boss is gone. 2 guys in black suits walk into my office, show me their credentials, and says, this meeting will remain between the 3 of us. Sign this piece of paper.
Are we going to get in trouble? Is this episode going to get redacted right now?
No.
Right. I've gotten those letters before, so.
So
No, this is awesome. I can't wait to hear
so
this.
he says, as you know, President Bush is going to Pakistan. I go, yep, I'm aware of it, and I know what we're doing here. And da, da, da. He goes, well, he's not going to Pakistan. He's coming here. It's the first time a president, I think, might have been the second, has ever landed in Afghanistan. So this was about 3 weeks away. And he said, you cannot tell your superior until 24 hours prior. And he's coming on a Saturday. So we go to the next Zoom meeting on a Friday, and it's a standard talk about anything and everything, but at the end of it, anybody got anything? Well, a couple of times I said I did, like the flag thing. Don't you dare let them take that flag down. Another, they wanted to help us man the outposts. Well, we don't have the manning for that, and I told him that, nope, we're not. Well, so I can't tell him about this yet. So I got work to do. I got security to go through. I got airplanes. I need air cover. He's going to land around 9 o'clock in the morning, Air Force One on Bagram.
They flew Air Force One
on Bagram Air Base, and I was the acting commander. I'm in the tower. I watched
They
it.
didn't bring him in on a military?
No, sir.
Holy shit.
No, sir.
That's not a target.
So a lot of planning to do, and the Friday before, I go, okay, this call is going to be interesting. So we go through with everybody on a video. All our pictures are there. And at the end of it, okay, anybody got anything? Bobby, you got anything? No. Jansen, you got anything? No. Buck, you got anything? Yes, sir, I need to talk to you about something. Okay, stay on the line. Da-da-da-da-da. Everybody pulls out. And he goes, Buck, what do you got? I go, well, it's about President Bush. Yep, I know. He's going to Pakistan tomorrow. I said, sir, he's not. He's coming to Bagram. And I've already met with Secret Service and a guy from the CIA, and I had to sign a piece of letter, sign a sheet of letter that I couldn't tell you until 24 hours. Call me tomorrow when he's airborne. Click. Oh, he's pissed. A 3-star general, and he was not told of it.
Informed, yeah.
So I'm in the tower. Here comes Air Force One. I get out of the tower. He's taxiing back. I go to the bottom of the steps with the 2-star general, introduced myself to President Bush, and I've also welcomed President Bush to Buckley numerous times before that.
Okay.
So he knew who I was. And then the 2-star takes him off for the rest of the day. Then at the end of the day, we've got a big Quonset hut. President Bush gets up there and talks a little bit, and then the 2-star and I take him back, meet him at the bottom of the stairs. Have a good flight, sir. I go back to the tower, and Air Force One takes off. And it's a Blue Jay day. Blue as blue can be, beautiful airplane, and I watch it, and we had not one problem. Now I got to go to the office and call my 3-star. But it's good news because we didn't have any problems. I said, General North, President's Airborne, we didn't have any problems. Said, Buck, I'm going on a tour to visit all the guys under me, and you are first on Monday. I will see you Monday. Yes, sir. He came, and it was all okay. He wasn't pissed at me. He was just pissed because nobody ever told him.
Right.
So that was a big deal in my wing commandership
that's wild.
at Afghanistan.
What kind of aircraft do you have to have in the air, like support to
we had
fly them in?
We had quite a few different ones. We had Air Force, we had Navy, we had lots of air fighters, we had people on the ground. We had things ready to go.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
But the good news is not one incident.
Yeah.
Not one incident.
That's what you want. I had an Air Force One incident, believe it or not. During that Red Bull tour, one of the bases that we got to go to was Andrews. Okay. And it was fucking incredible, right?
Sure.
And I brought this kid with me from Orange County. This is a long story, but I'm going to tell you the short version. He's like a 909er, surf kid, skate kid, punk rock kid, has no idea how the military operates. Like, I had some friends that were in, and I had done some USO stuff prior to this with some other artists and been on numerous bases. But anyways, long story short, he ended up being late, like missed his flight or some shit. So I'm sitting in DC, and we're supposed to be on base. He comes in like on zero sleep, half drunk still, I think. We pull up to the gate, and they're like, Mr. Haas, Mr. Marshall, welcome to Andrews Air Force Base. And his nickname was Chippy because of a Vegas incident. But
okay,
selling this guy down the river. And he turns to me, and I hadn't seen him. Like, I'd just picked him up from the airport, and we drove straight over because we had to go in 3 or 4 days before so they could search our trucks and do this whole thing. So we're there before the truck is even there. And he's like, how the fuck do they know our names? I said, dude, we are the only 2 civilians in the entire U.S. probably that are allowed on this Air Force base right now. So this, I think it was a 2-star that showed up. Pretty sure it was might have been a 2 or a 3-star. Shows up in a golf cart, but he's in a flight suit. So it didn't really look like the 2-star part, and he had a prosthetic leg. And we get in this golf cart with him, and he's giving us a tour of the base. So like, this is where your truck's going to go. And I'm sitting in the back of the golf cart, and Chippy's in the front. And Chippy turns to me and goes, so what happened to your leg? Did it get blown off in war? And instantly I'm like, oh my God, he has no idea. We're going to get kicked out of here. It was like, I can't believe they sent this fucking guy with me. And the general ended up loving him for just busting his balls, like, you know, right out of the gate.
Asking right out, yeah.
We had the best time, man. I actually have an Air Force One challenge coin from that day. I just don't have it. I have a whole collection of these at home too from that trip. But yeah, later that day, Bush was flying out. So this would have been about 2008 or 7 or something like that.
Yeah,
because he was still
right when I retired.
We watched Bush fly out of there before they opened the base up to the public for the air show.
Okay.
They flew him out of there, and Air Force One out of there.
Yeah.
But then prior to that, who's the prime minister? Tony Blair? Was it Tony Blair?
Yeah.
He was flying in. So in the middle of that, they did this thing called a ramp freeze or something, and they brought snipers out onto the roof and like Secret Service and like, I think it was only MPs or something. And we're out riding around with this 2-star in a golf cart, and these MPs show up, and they get in this whole dispute of who's got control and power, and we ended up sitting in the back of a hangar somewhere, and he's like, okay, don't go outside. You'll be here for about 4 hours, and we'll come pick you up when you can move. But yeah, no, that was wild. It was a wild experience for me.
They don't joke around about that stuff.
No, the amount of times that I've probably had sniper scopes on me is unreal on some of the events that I've worked on.
You're a target.
Yeah. Dressed in all black, big guy.
Yeah.
Looks kind of seedy.
Not hard to miss.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm the first target. So yeah, going back to your career. So we're kind of jumping around in years and stuff, but one thing I want to talk to you about, and I think that something that's fascinating to me in a day that almost anybody that was alive at that time, and it's hard to believe that there's adults that weren't alive at this time now, to show my age a little bit, 9/11, when it happened. I mean, I think everybody kind of remembers where they're at, but I can't imagine what it's like, because you were active duty at that point. You were National Guard, right?
Right here in Colorado.
What, were you on base when that happened? I mean, can you tell us about that day for you?
I'll tell you about that day and about 4 others. So, 9/11 was on a Tuesday. And work week for us at Buckley is Tuesday through Friday. So we just showed up to work Tuesday morning. And I'm not watching the TV. I'm the chief of safety. My office is located in the wing building, not the fighter squadron. So I'm with the 1-star wing commander, the vice wing, a couple of other offices. And over the PA system, we hear the wing commander say, everybody in this building, come to my office. Had no idea why. Go to the office. So I never watched live the first airplane hit the Twin Towers, but we all watched the second one in his office. And when we watched the second one, we knew this was not an accident. So he calls a battle staff meeting, which is going to be over in the fighter squadron, in the command post. He probably called the Air National Guard Bureau, or they called him. We have a battle staff meeting with all senior leadership. We need to get 2 airplanes in the air right now with just training bullets. In the meantime, We have live munitions. We have live missiles. We have live API, HEI. We just got to get them loaded on the airplanes, and that's going to take an hour or so. But let's get 2 airplanes airborne right now. So 2 of the full-time guys, they blast off. Now we got to work a schedule here. Buck, you came in at 6 o'clock this morning. You go home. You are married to Needle. We talked about Needle earlier.
Yeah.
We are married until...
I'm never not going to... Every time I hear the word Needle now, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm going to laugh, dude. So, like, yeah.
You need to tell how Needle got his name.
Well, so Needle is about a 5'8" ex-Marine fighter pilot. He flew the Harrier.
Oh, no shit.
But he was a Marine and then flew the A4, and then he came to us, flew the A-7, the F-16. But he's 5'8", 140 pounds. He was a runner. But he got his call sign because of his last name.
Right.
But when he was in the Marines, they would do dwarf tossing with him back and forth over the bar. So the guys at the bar
Marines are savages,
would
man.
pick Needle up and throw him over the bar. The bartender would throw him back, and they just did this for a few minutes. So, at any rate, Buck, you and Needle are married until we tell you you're not. Go home. Be here 8 o'clock tonight, or whatever time it was. It was so long ago, I can't even remember. So we showed up, suited up. We've had F-16s in the air since about 8:15 Colorado time that morning. And now we're going to relieve the 2 that are up there right now. In the meantime, FAA has declared Scantana. I can't tell you exactly what it stands for. You can look it up, but nothing allowed in the air except military. That's why you saw all those airliners parked on runways and taxiways in Newfoundland and Scotland and Greenland and United States.
That was worldwide?
That was worldwide.
Oh, shit. I thought it was just United
Oh,
States
no.
and anything inbound to United States.
Oh, no.
Worldwide.
Worldwide.
Holy shit. Who calls that?
FAA. Well, maybe it was just the United States. I'm not sure. We'd have to look that
Well, you
up.
think about...
But we had jets landing everywhere.
But it's fascinating. Like, in the modern world, like, one of the things that fascinates me about Vegas is the aircraft. We talked about the Air Force Base there. But there is not a time when you drive by that airport, when you're going down Las Vegas Boulevard, that you can look out to your right or your left and just see light after light lined up constantly.
Kind of like
I
just
mean,
like DIA.
As fast as you could land commercial planes on that runway, they're doing it. And DIA, I think, is like the 3rd biggest in the world or something.
It
isn't
is. It is.
So
Yeah.
same sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like
And
it's,
now, all those airplanes got to get on the ground as soon as practical.
so they were landing
Don't
where they
overfly-
weren't supposed to.
Don't
Yeah.
overfly a runway. Get your ass on the ground.
Wow.
So anyway, so I come in, Needle and I come in at night, get dressed up, and we take off. Scantana has been declared on the F-16.
What was it? I'm sorry. What was that like being in the sky, not seeing any other planes?
That's about what I was. Where I
Okay,
was
sorry,
going.
man. I'll
That's
just
okay.
shut the hell up over
No,
here. I
that's
just need
okay.
to listen sometimes.
The F-16 radar does not work on the ground, or all our crew chiefs would never have children. Okay? So once you get weight off of wheels, the radar starts working. On any typical day or night, taking off a Buckley, there's 100 contacts out there because of all the little airplanes, United, Delta, Southwest, you name it. When I broke ground, I'm leading, and we take 10-second spacing, so we're doing single ship takeoffs. And I break ground, weight off gear, raise the gear up, and the screen is black. There's not one contact out there. Not one. There's only one other airplane airborne in the state of Colorado, and that is a KC-135 from Nebraska Guard stationed at Lincoln. Call sign, Husker. And he is 50 miles east, and he's got lots of gas, and he's just there for us two. That's it. So we take off, and I go south, and he goes north. I go to Colorado Springs, to the mountain. He goes north up to Greeley, and we just do this
So you're just patrolling.
for the next 8 hours. Okay, you're getting a little low on gas. Needle, you go get gas first. He goes and gets gas, and I just do a circuit. He comes back, he gets in the circuit, I go get gas. We do that for 8 hours.
Were they
all night
doing
long.
that state by state, or were you guys driving, or were you driving?
we-
were you flying over state lines? Or?
We are not, no, we never left Colorado.
Okay.
Not for that. We were not the only state doing that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just say that.
Yeah.
So we did that Tuesday night. We were relinquished control. A 2-ship came up at 4 or 5 in the morning, whatever it was. We landed and went home, went to bed. Well, you're supposed to go to bed. Our eyes are glued to the TV because 4 airliners just crashed into 4 different pieces of property.
Yeah.
We tried to get some rest, came back Wednesday night, did the same thing. Tried to get some rest Thursday, came back Thursday night. This is when everything kind of fell apart. Scantana was lifted. We were thinking we're coming back in and going to fly all night. Nope, they've lifted Scantana. Jets are starting to get back in the air. People are trying to get back where they were.
Man, they did it that soon, huh?
Thursday night.
Wow.
So we are now on alert. So our jets, of course, within 3 hours, we're loaded for bear. We've got 2 AMRAAM radar missiles, 2 heat seekers, full load of API, HEI, and that was from like 3 hours from when the World Trade Center was hit. We got loaded up really quick. So first off, not only pilots, crew chiefs, munitions guys, maintainers, but all the staff writing orders for all of us, because now we're Title 10. We're not guard guys. We're active duty guys, and chow halls, and just the support from medical. Make sure shot records and medical records all up to date. You got to have a physical. They just kept going, and we're a unit of about 1,500 total, with about probably 11 to 12 of that weekend warriors, part-timers. There's 300 to 500 that are full-time. Mm-hmm. We had every one of those guys and gals out there, and they're busting their ass. And we made it work under the wing commander, Wayne Schultz, Brigadier General Wayne Schultz. So we show up, and we're not going to fly. We're on alert. So the jets are all loaded right outside the hangar. It's September 14th. We have a little bedroom, and we, no kidding, have a red bat phone. You can't call out on it, but they can call in on it. And if that thing rings, you're getting scrambled. Yeah, there's no way.
So you're as close to the aircraft as you can to get scrambled.
I'm meet of the curb outside of your car.
Really?
Yeah. And we're not going to get scrambled, so we go to bed. 5:30 in the morning, the bat phone rang.
What?
Yeah. So after 9/11, they scrambled jets on 9/11, and then 12/13, nothing happened. I and Needle got the first scramble right here out of Denver, Colorado at 5:30 on the 14th of September, 2001.
Okay, sorry. Just so I get this correct, because maybe I wasn't listening right. So they scrambled jets right away on 9/11, obviously on the East Coast, right?
Especially after the Pennsylvania airplane.
Yeah.
Because that's the one that was still, the other 3 crashed into buildings. The Pennsylvania jet, they think, was destined for the White House, so the Washington, D.C. Guard sent 2 airplanes up, but in the meantime, he crashed in the field.
Wow, that's crazy. Do you know any of those guys?
D.C. and Buckley did a lot together. Alabama and Buckley did a lot together. New Mexico and Buckley did a lot
Have you
together.
talked to them? I mean, obviously.
Oh, I talked to him. Yeah, when I was still in, and talked to him. Yeah, after 9/11, we were all talking to everybody.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
What was it like from their perspective being, and I know it's hard for you to tell their perspective, but like, what was some of the stuff, did you know them at the time, and were you guys talking after that happened?
When we would deploy to Iraq, we would do it in a rainbow fashion so we wouldn't gut one unit.
Gotcha.
So we would take 4 jets from Buckley, 4 from Alabama, 4 from D.C., put all 12 together, and now let's just say Alabama takes everything over. So it's their pilots, their maintainers, their equipment, they take everything over. Let's say D.C., it's for a 3-month period. Mm-hmm. D.C. goes over for the 2nd month in a chartered airliner with all their people. land, pick up Alabama, bring them home, and then a month later, they'd come to Buckley, pick all of us up, take us over, they bring DC home, and then we would bring all the airplanes and equipment back.
Gotcha.
So we'd rainbow it, so we only lost 4 jets per unit for that 3-month period.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, we were talking to everybody.
Okay.
So Heather Penny is a female. I know her father. I've talked with him. He lives right here in Colorado. He was a big Stead Air Force Base air race guy in the Rare Bear. That was his daughter. And in fact, I was a SOF, supervisor of flying, that launched everybody when they went to war in 2003. And I had Heather Penny's dad in my airplane. I do not remember the guy's name that was the flight lead, but they were scrambled with no bullets, no nothing, and we're told they may have to do a midair impact to stop this airplane. And that's on YouTube too. You can look that up.
Holy shit.
They interviewed.
So it's a suicide mission at that point.
Or
right?
the best take out a
maybe an ejection.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you live through the midair, then hopefully you can eject. Yeah. So that's something to look at in the future.
Just because they didn't have, I mean, they weren't ready for it, right? Why would planes be loaded with munitions sitting on a runway,
That's
right?
correct.
Like
That's correct.
Yeah.
So 5:30, the phone goes off. And Neil answers the phone. And we're both in our birthday suits, just like any other fighter pilot. You know, we're not going to get launched. And you got a 10-minute window from the time you're notified. Holy shit. They said scramble. Rooster, call sign Rooster, is the guy on duty in the command post, and he's the one that called us. Guys, scramble now. Up we jump, we get dressed, get our flight gear on. We show up at the jet about the same time the maintainers are. Jump in the jet, the canopy's coming down, the engine's wheeling up, and we've already done a stored alignment on the INS, so it only has to cook for a minute and a half to get a full alignment on our guidance system and all that. And
is that the radar system?
No,
or?
that's the INS, the inertial navigation
like the weapons.
system. Not the weapons, just navigation.
Okay.
So it knows right now I'm sitting on the ramp, but when I'm over East Texas, it knows I'm over East Texas.
Gotcha. Okay.
So lots of do that morning. I remember that. And we do a 10-second spacing takeoff, and off we go, full burner. And we get a hold of Denver Center on one radio, and we're talking to our FIDO, Fighter Intercept Duty Officer, Rooster, at the command post on a different radio. And he goes, "You're cleared Buster." Buster means there's no speed limit today. You do not have to go by abided rules. You can go as fast as you want, but stay within limits of what you're carrying. So we already know that the fastest we can fly is 1.6 Mach. 1.6 Mach is 744, about 1,200 miles an hour. So we can go 1,200 miles an hour because that guy is over the very eastern part of Colorado, and they want us to intercept him as far away from the metro area as possible.
Okay, sorry, I might have lost this because I'm
I'm talking too fast. I'm talking too fast.
So you guys get the call from the red phone. You get in the plane, get everything fired up. You're launched. Did they tell you what you were scrambled for? They just told you to intercept on these coordinates?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss that.
So they gave us a heading. Your target, that's all. Your target is 80-some miles away at your 30 degrees right or 10 degrees right, whatever it was. Soon after that, we got him on radar. I called Judy, which means I take control of the intercept. You, Denver Center, you don't have to do anything more because I've got him on radar. So I'll do my own stern conversion. So I gave Needle a little bit of power so he could get with me line abreast. We're 1 mile apart. We're loaded for bear. We have all the missiles, all the gun. So as we get within about 8 miles and 30 right, I start slowing down and I do a stern conversion. I'm talking to Denver Center controller, female, on a radio, which is not the same radio that the target is talking to her on. So she is simulcasting. So whatever she says to him, I hear. Whatever she says to me, he hears. Well, he obviously says something about, in a corporate jet, they have TCAS, corporate jet.
So this is like a private Lear
This
jet
it's a Falcon 50.
Okay.
So he obviously says something about, I have a TCAS alert at 6 o'clock, terminal collision avoidance system, to keep from getting a midair. I have a TCAS alert at 6 o'clock for 1 mile. What's going on? Well, in the meantime, this guy was supposed to be at 39,000 feet, and he's changed his altitude by 5, 8, 10,000 feet, turning left, turning right, and jets were just let back in the air last night. So this is a pretty cavalier attitude to be taken just after you're allowed to be in the air.
Right.
So he says, I have a TCAS alert, 6 o'clock, what's going on? The first words out of her mouth were, you now have 2 fully armed F-16s at your 6 o'clock. Do you want to start doing what you're told?
Holy shit.
When she's saying this jet is doing this. When she got the word told out of her mouth, the jet was at 39,000 feet, plus or minus 0.
So he was just fucking around.
Exactly. No threat. Turned out never to be a threat. Didn't have any bombs or missiles. Just a pretty cavalier, stupid attitude 3 days after 9/11.
Yeah.
And he's going to Aspen. Okay? So we were told by Rooster, monitor, 1 mile in trail. He's starting to do his descent to go into Aspen. And you know Aspen being here all your life, basically.
I've flown in and out of there a couple times, too.
It's
wild landing.
It's one way in and one way out. I flew in there in Learjets a lot.
Okay.
So it's one way in, one way out. Excuse me. And now as he's starting to get on final approach, Rooster goes, we want an ID. So I go up 3 feet. I tell Needle to stay at 6 o'clock for 1 mile. And I go up on his right wing, 3 feet off his right wing, and I communicate. Just like Maverick.
Yeah.
But I wasn't inverted. I was just... So then I back off. I got his tail number. I can't even remember that now. Back off, and he lands. So then we go to 13,000 feet, 15,000 feet, and it's now 7:30 in the morning. So 7:30 at 15,000 feet is broad daylight.
Right.
But in that hole, it is black. And when I looked down, I could have sworn every vehicle in the state of Colorado that had a red and blue flashing light on it was at that airport.
Really?
Because they knew all about this an hour ago.
Right.
Because this is where he was coming. So we're just doing this, monitor. Tower tells the guy to turn off. Don't shut your engines off. Okay, shut your engines off. Don't open your door. Okay, open your door. And whatever happens, and then they finally say, Red Eye, we've got it all under control. You can RTB to Buckley. Well, we've been airborne about an hour and a half now, and all I want is a cup of coffee and to go to the bathroom.
Right.
We had a little fuel left, so we lit the burner, and 7 minutes from Aspen to Buckley landing.
Holy shit.
And put them on the ground. And then the day began. I can't even tell you the amount of debriefs with Intel, the FAA, the wing commander. You know, I just thank Needle for making sure I didn't do the 3Ds, which is anything dumb, dangerous, or different. And we didn't. We didn't actually shoot down any kind of airplane. We did it by the book. We got her on the ground, and Needle and I did a good job that day.
That's crazy. What was your adrenaline like?
Well,
I guess like
we didn't know what kind of airplane it was. So going 1.6 Mach, I mean, I've been 2.0 Mach numerous times in this airplane over Colorado, but this is at not 40,000 feet. It's a little bit less than that.
Right.
And we're doing 1.6, but that F-16 is solid as a rock.
Really?
And now what kind of airplane am I going to intercept? I didn't know until I rolled out, a couple of miles from it and creeped up to it. And it was an executive airplane.
Wow. Do you know, did he have any executives on board, or?
He had a bunch of people, so...
Hopefully there's a bunch of strippers on there or something, because
they should have been
be doing that sort of flying.
They should have been having a party. So my good friend, True Iyer, that was the next wing commander, was at some conference, and he was telling the story about his buddy, Buck. And they took a break, and this guy came up and said, General Iyer, you know that guy flying that Falcon 50?
Yeah.
That was me. He admitted it.
Really?
He lost his license for a year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just kind of a stupid move.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never
Play stupid games.
Never a threat. Yeah. Play stupid games, get stupid prizes.
Right.
That's right.
That's crazy, man. He had to be shitting his pants when he heard that there was 2 F-16s.
When that TCAS went off, it got his attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I rolled up on the wing, I was on the right wing.
Dude, what were you thinking, man? Like that?
He wasn't thinking.
Yeah,
he
no
wasn't.
joke, man.
Yeah. So
Especially like that was probably the most patriotic I ever felt in my life, was that the day 9/11 happened.
Oh my God, this world came together, didn't it? This country came together.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I saw my friends that were on the they're still my friends, but we were kids, man. I was, 20, was it 2001, right?
2001.
Yeah, I was I just turned 21.
I was 49.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
No, so I saw a bunch of young idiots turn into men real quick.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, I mean, I don't even know what that did for recruitment. And then those guys went to war. I mean,
2003.
I have so many friends. Yeah, like probably, and I probably would have been right there with them if I wasn't one of the dumber ones in the group and caught a court case.
might have kept you out of it.
Yeah. Well, I was trying, but yeah.
Yeah. So that was
Man, that
was a big day, and then
yeah.
So from then on, we've had airplanes on alert. We built shelters, full-time shelters for the airplanes. We built living quarters for the pilots, living quarters for the maintenance guys.
Just to be on the ready.
The amount of money we have spent, all because of 9/11. Excuse me, and that day changed our lives, everybody's lives, forever.
Absolutely.
Forever.
Yeah. Have you been to the memorial there?
In D.C.?
In New York.
Oh, no, the Twin Towers? Yeah. I have not.
It's incredible, man. You should make the trip. They did such a great job with that. And like the museum's unbelievable, the amount of stuff that they have in there. And they keep updating it and stuff like that. I was actually just reading a book. I want to give them credit. Pull up No Ordinary Dog. It's an incredible book. It's about a service dog that was assigned to a SEAL team, and he just happened to be on the Osama bin Laden raid, and like the dog's career is insane. I think the dog's name was Cairo, but who wrote it? Oh, Will Chesney. That's right.
Chesney, yeah.
But anyways, they have a whole. I want to go back there because now they have some of this dog's stuff in the museum now. So it's like they've built on it over the years from, deployments or missions and stuff that's happened since 9/11. But like, you go in there, it's crazy. They have like a part of a fire truck, and that was there, and then just all the 2 pools that they put in place of the towers, like. It's incredible. Yeah. It's so well done, and just the feeling there. I mean, it's breathtaking.
We were all in shock. We were all in shock watching that on TV, and it wasn't until days later that we could even fathom what was going on, and the amount of people jumping from a burning building, and
oh my God,
just the things that happened, and the collapse of the buildings, and the Pentagon, and then. Pennsylvania, Bush was dealt a bad deal because that was like 9 months after he was inaugurated. That was September, and he'd only been in office for 9 months.
Right.
What a way to start a 4-year career. Or
Man, I'll
as it
never
turned out,
forget him
8-year.
reading children's books at a preschool or something and getting that news. Like that image is burned, or that video is burned in my mind forever.
Good news, bad news, but what a deal to handle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Man.
So that was in 01, and then I deployed in 06 to Afghanistan, and then that's pretty well wrapping up the career. In 07, I had a little medical issue that kept me from going any further, and medically retired. But luckily, I still have both my legs. It was a vascular problem. Probably flying fighters for 34 years didn't help it any. But who knew at the time? And I wouldn't have changed a thing anyway. So retired March of 08 and flew corporate for a couple of different companies afterwards, Twin Cessnas and Learjets, and still fly my own Bonanza, and I'm still walking on the face of the earth, sir.
Heck yeah. Buck, we've been at it almost 2 hours. I feel like I need to have you back on. Like I feel like we're just getting into
You've only scratched the surface, sir.
We had it's a time machine in here, really. Like I say that all the time. I say it ad nauseum. My listeners must hate it, right? Because it's probably not that fast for them. But it's wild how fast time goes by.
Tyler's probably sitting over here going, "Are you guys ever going to get done?"
I got questions.
You got a question? What's your question?
My question. So I know
He's
flying.
fascinated by jets, by the way. He was
I love fighter
ecstatic you were
jets.
coming in here.
Okay.
So real quick. So I know that the F-15, F-14, F-18 were probably all out in commission while you were flying F-16s. What's the difference when it comes to like flying an F-15 versus an F-16? Is that like air to air only? Because I know that the F-15 is like the greatest, in theory, like best American jet ever created. So what was the difference in flying one of those versus where you were at with the F-16?
The F-15 was built for air superiority. So I had a humongous radar out there that could find targets a long ways away. And there's parts of it that I was never privy to because it was need to know information, but it could do some magical things. The F-18 was kind of special in its alpha maneuvers. It could really direct the nose around. 60 alpha is a lot of angles. And it could, at slow airspeeds, it could point its nose. The F-16 was kind of like the F-4 in its day. It was the master of none, but it was good at everything it did. It could drop guns good, it could shoot air to air. But one thing we had going in the F-16 that the Hornet and the Eagle didn't, we were this big. And the F-15 and the F-14 and the F-18 were this big. So to see us, you had to have pretty good eyesight. Or if we split the altitude on you, and one's down low and the other one's up high, you may get one of us, but you're not going to see both of us.
Okay.
So, yeah, and you take all those things into account. We had a pretty stealthy airplane in the F-16. Obviously not near like the F-22 or the F-35, but there were some programs that made us a little bit stealthy. Our size, always come out of the sun. That was only invented in World War I. You always come out of the sun because if you look into the sun, you can't see me. You're going to get blind.
You're going to see white spots for a week.
Yeah. So, weather had a lot to do with it. But, air-to-air tactics is a whole nother discussion.
Right.
And the F-22 wasn't in commission when you were...
No, the F-35 or F-22 were not in commission when I was still flying in 08.
Okay.
The F-15 came out as air-to-air. Then the F-15E came out. That's the air-to-ground version. Oh, shit, can they carry some ordnance? Load that thing up. It's huge. And then it got conformal tanks, so it even had more of a fuel payload and still carried lots of bombs. Now the F-15, I think they call it the X, that I think is the newest version. And, things just keep getting better. There's talk. We flew Block 30, what we call Big Mouth. So the intake on our Block 30s was, they first made them with a small intake, about probably 3.5 by 2. Ours were like 4.5 by 2.5. What does that equate to? More air in, more thrust out. We had the best performing Block 30 big mouths in the world. Then they bet Block 40s, Block 50s, Block 60s, and they're talking about opening up the assembly line for the F-16 because the F-35 is just too freaking expensive. And we can do almost the same with the F-16.
Okay.
So
They're insane, man.
Some big differences, some subtle differences.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they extended the lifetime of the F-16.
Oh my God. It first came out, it was a 2,000-hour airplane.
Yeah.
That was in 83.
Yeah, but
That was the A model. And then they extended it 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000, 12,000. Now it's up to 20,000. And I think it's up to 20. And the jets at Buckley are approaching that now. And they did modifications to wing and bulkheads to make them last. Because you pull 9Gs every frickin' sortie for 20,000 hours, you're bent.
Right.
Your metal is bent. So they're going to have to do something to replace these. And at F-35, if we lose an F-16, it's basically an $18 million check. You lose an F-35, it's a $100 million check. It's a big difference in monetary value. So
Yeah.
we got to get this back to something reasonable.
Right.
Yeah. Anything else,
Yeah.
Tyler?
No, I think that's about that. Yeah.
I'm proud of you, Tyler. Tyler never asks questions,
no,
man.
I never really do. And it's true that F-15 has never lost a battle ever, right?
That is a true statement.
Yeah.
The F-16 has. The F-15 has never lost.
There was a lot more F-16s though than there were F-15s, correct?
Yes, there are. Yes, there are. And even
I'm going to let you and Tyler do. These are great questions, Tyler.
the Israelis, I don't know if they used the F-15 in this last raid, but I do know of an incident where an F-15 had a midder with some other Israeli airplane. I don't know if it was another Eagle or what it was, but he lost his entire right wing,
He still landed it, right?
and he still landed it.
What? How in the hell?
That's correct.
I know that one.
I know, that's crazy.
That's
Well,
insane.
that's some of the same stories with the A-10 that you would tell me about. Like, they were shot to shit.
Oh,
And no hydraulics worked anymore because they're all cable systems.
so we had
Still land them.
we had the hydraulic system on the A-10, but we also had a backup cable called manual reversion. Through training in the air, we would go manual reversion just to see what it flew like, and it flew like I'll say it, a fucking tank. It flew terrible. And I believe it was a female in the Iraq War that got the hydraulics shot out. She went to manual reversion, and I'm telling you, Bobby, if you're going to land this thing, you better have both feet on the dash and both hands on the stick when you get ready to flare to pull this thing back because there's so much pressure. And she landed the airplane in manual reversion.
Really?
She did. And rudder shot up and elevators shot up and wings shot up. A-10 can take a lot of damage. It can take a lot of damage. The F-16, it can't take a lot of damage. And it's got tires on it that are that big.
But you got to aim at something this small in the sky, right?
That's a true statement.
Yeah. And super fast.
That's a true statement.
Man, what an amazing career. Thank you so much for coming on today, man. Cheers.
Hey, buddy.
It's not over yet. But thank you for being here.
You want some ice?
I got my own cup
Okay,
over here. Yeah.
all right.
Do you need more ice?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good.
cool.
I'm good.
So I definitely would, if you had a good time today, I hope you did.
I can't, it's hard to put it into words
Yeah,
because it's bites and sounds that I've told Jansen or my wife or other friends a little bit today, a little bit next day, and it feels like I just gave you a diarrhea 34-year.
you did great. I loved every minute of it. So don't feel like that.
It was great. It was a privilege to be here.
That's why I would love to have you back, and I'm honored to have you back. Because I think we could dissect You probably, I mean, 34 years, the amount of stories and stuff that you could archive is unbelievable, I bet.
Well, I haven't even told you the civilian stories of when I was crazy, so.
Well, there's a lot more to you, too, than just your military career. You know, after talking to you on the phone.
There was. I gave
and,
my mom a lot of gray hairs.
Yeah.
I had no fear in my life.
So I think whenever you're feeling froggy or you want to just come up and get some free booze, I'd be happy to sit here with you. And we don't even have to turn on the mics, man. You got a new friend here. And really, this isn't just a podcast. I don't know if I told you this, or Jansen told you this, but when you sign up for this show, you're kind of expected to come back and forever, like at least a couple
I would
times,
be disappointed if I wasn't invited back.
There's only a few people on that list, right?
And I hope I'm not one of them.
No, you're not. You're definitely not. So yeah, it's. I would love to have you back on. I'm sure there's so much more to your career, but not only that, outside of it. And the cool thing about it is it's not really an interview. Like I'm horrible at interviews.
I'm not
great at
applying
shooting
for a
the
job.
shit, right?
No.
Well, I don't want it to feel that way either. But currently, I guess we'll wrap this up here pretty soon because I don't want to keep you. I want to be respectful of your guys' time. But what do you got currently going on? Is there anything that you want to plug or anything that your kids are doing that you want to plug while you're on here? Because that's one thing that this platform's for. There's a lot of people that listen. So
the oldest, the one that I got at 4 years old and raised, after he went to L.A. to become a movie star, which he did quite a few different movies, but I think Lone Survivor was probably one of his top ones. He had this thought that he started meeting people, and he's always been a car guy. There are a lot of people in California that have a lot of expensive cars and no place to keep them. Well, today, and it got so busy, I had my younger son at home, but he called him and said, I need you to come out here and help me run this thing. Well, make a long story short, there's 2 warehouses in LA, there's 1 in San Diego, there's 2 in Montana, and they're all basically full, and he's storing high-end cars. So these are not Mustangs, Camaros. They are almost 99% Europe made, and they're killing it. They're doing great. I'm so proud of him. I have a grandson from him now.
nice.
Little
What's the name
Easton.
of the company so we can give them some shine?
I don't know if I can say that or not. I don't know
Oh,
if
is
I
it
can.
a private? Oh, you don't have to. Yeah.
Probably have to ask.
Well, no, yeah, I need to ask.
We can do it the next time.
I need to ask.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not going to give locations because
Well, yeah, I didn't think about
there's a
that.
lot of money sitting there. We got one grandson, Easton, 9 years old. Scott is also,
Mind you plugging his business.
pardon me?
He might not mind you plugging his business.
No, he probably wouldn't.
Because this is what.
Do they have a website?
You can,
Yeah, it's called Auto.
just pull
I
up
can
his
just do
website.
Auto Concierge.
Okay.
Yeah, I can say that.
Yeah, if he's got a website, that's all we need to say.
Auto Concierge.
That's the best way to.
There you go.
There he is.
Auto
Nice.
Concierge. Yeah. So Scotty is also a pilot. It was funny. He started enlisted in the Guard, in the command post. And then he went to be an air traffic controller. So he went to Mississippi and went to the full air traffic control school, came back to Buckley, and he was an air traffic controller. His friends go, "What do you do, Scott?" And he goes, "I tell my dad where to go." So now he's a pilot.
Right.
He owns his own Piper Meridian F-350. Probably 5-6 years ago, he and I went to Lake Berryessa and checked out in the A-5, which is a amphibian airplane, either on the water or on the land. And then I went to work for the factory, and I delivered brand new ones all over the United States.
Really?
2 guys that bought the A-5.
So you're going to Alaska a lot?
I didn't
probably.
go there.
Okay.
Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Virginia.
Wow.
Went all the way to Virginia from San Francisco or Sacramento area. It's a great airplane. I've flown it, lots of hours in it. John has flown in it. He is not a licensed pilot, but both my kids, both my boys, very proud of both of them. They've just done tremendous.
That's incredible.
I don't have to worry about one of them calling going, Dad, can I move into the basement?
You can move into their place, right?
There's the A5.
Yeah.
Nice.
Badass plane. It's such a
That's the Vigilante A5, but that's the A5 that is the amphibian.
icon.
Wow.
Fun airplane. Fun airplane.
That's crazy. Super cool. Let's go ahead and put a pin in this, man. Buck, thank you so much. This has been super rad. You don't
Bobby,
have to rush out of here, but
My pleasure. My
man,
pleasure.
I can't wait to have you back. So we'll get you back up here in a few months or something like that, or whenever it's convenient for you. And
You bet.
yeah, you're right down the road. So if you ever need anything, holler at us. And thanks, thank you for your service that many years and everything that you did for our country, and not taking down that American flag is pretty freaking cool. Too,
I
man.
was
Like,
I was pretty adamant about that one. I was putting my chest out. So if I could close, I'd like to thank all the men and women in all the services for their dedication to protect this great country, and God bless the USA.
absolutely. Let's end on that. Thanks, Tyler. Take us away. Thanks for listening to the Mountainside Podcast. If you haven't had a chance to do this already, please take a moment, follow, like, subscribe, or rate on whatever platform you catch the Mountainside Podcast at. If you'd like some more information on upcoming episodes, safety tips, access to all of our affiliates, and all the badass discounts that we get here at the Mountainside Podcast, check out themountainsidepodcast.com.